Hello students, this is video part 1 of chapter 5 from Flamingo class 12, CBC class 12, Indigo. This chapter is, I have already made a summary video of this chapter. You can see that chapter also 2 times Sukesh Mishra CBSE in YouTube. If you will see that you will understand better the background and other things. But let's discuss in short about title Indigo. Indigo is basically its a name. It is called it is a kind of material which is used to dye cloths in blue color, that is called meal. Okay. In this chapter we are going to discuss about a very famous moment of history, that is called Champaran episode. Okay, Champaran moment, which took place in 1916-17. Okay, 1917 basically. Thereafter, and it is a very important incident of M.K. Gandhi's life also, because from after participating in Champaran movement in 1917, Mahatma Gandhi got an idea that it is possible to work against Britishers, and it is possible that they could be asked to leave India. In 1920, inspired by Champaran episode, Gandhi himself accepted, Mahatma Gandhi himself accepted this statement. He has accepted this reason that he got the idea, he got the courage from Champaran episode that it is possible to request, it is possible to ask Britishers to leave India. And inspired by Champaran episode, he started non-cooperation movement in 1920, and thereafter civil disobedience, right, for non-cooperation movement, and quit India in 1942. Okay. So students, let's start this chapter line by line explanation. Today is the first part. Okay, I will try my level best that you all students should understand each and every line properly. If you have any problem, you can comment in the comment section. Okay, you can please, I request you to press the subscribe this channel, like also, and share as well. When I first visited Gandhi in 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram, author of this chapter, who is Sukesh, says he is a Philadelphia, author from Philadelphia, who worked as a volunteer. Okay, he gave a volunteer service in British Army from 1980 to 1920, 1918 to 1920, and during these 2 years he was this Champaran episode took place at a large number, and he saw everything from a close distance through his feature. And that's why he wrote later on a book on Mahatma Gandhi, The Life of Gandhi. He wrote a book, The Life of Gandhi, and from that book this part has been taken to extracted for you. So author says, when I first visited Gandhi in 1942, he met Gandhi first time in 1942 physically and personally, but he has already actually saw him and his active participation and his walking style in the Champaran movement. He notified that from a very close distance. So he says that while I met to Gandhi in 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram, means Sabarmati, that you can say, in central India, that is in central India and Gujarat, he said, M.K. Gandhi said to the author, I will tell you how it happened that I decided to urge the departure of the British. So while Louis Fisher tried to take an interview of M.K. Gandhi for his book, okay, then M.K. Gandhi told that, okay, I will tell reason also that where from I got how and where from I got the idea that I should I will request to the Britishers to leave India, means where from I got the idea, which incident inspired me, that I will tell you. M.K. Gandhi told to Louis Fisher. It was in 1917, and M.K. Gandhi started telling to Louis Fisher, okay, that it was in 1917 when this incident starts. Therefrom he got idea to request that he will request to the Britishers to leave India. He had gone to December 1916 annual convention of the Indian National Congress Party in Lucknow. M.K. Gandhi told Louis Fisher that it was 1917 basically, but it was December 1916, and there was an annual convention, there was an annual meeting, convention that is, there was an annual meeting of the Indian National Congress, that is called INC, students today nowadays it is Congress Party, INC, Indian National Congress, in INC in short, Indian National Congress in full form, it's a full form. So it was the annual convention of Congress Party that was held in 1916 in Lucknow, and M.K. Gandhi told Louis Fisher that I went into that meeting, okay, to join there. There were 2,301 delegates and many visitors. M.K. Gandhi told Louis Fisher that in that Lucknow convention in 1916, there were 2,301 delegates, means the representatives of different parties and different groups were there, and many visitors and many people as a visitor also, as a spectator also came to participate into that convention. During the proceedings, Gandhi recounted. Gandhi is recounting because this incident took place in 1916, 1917, and Louis Fisher is asking in 1942. So he recounted, he remembered, yes, it was actually that during the proceedings, means while the program was going on, convention was going on, a peasant came up to me, a farmer peasant came to MK Gandhi. MK Gandhi is telling these all the things to Louis Fisher. He's going to keep it in mind. I'm being told that while Lucknow convention was going on progress, a farmer came to me looking like any other peasant in India, and his appearance, the farmer of this appearance was not different from the other farmers whom we can see in India, means poor, very poor, poorly dressed, very malnourished, okay, in a very bad condition. He was also like other Indian farmers. He came to me, poor and emaciated, means as author Gandhi himself told that he was very poor and emaciated and very weak, lean and thin. And said, and Gandhi remembered well that the farmer came to MK Gandhi and told that I am Rajkumar Shukla. The farmer told to Gandhi that I am Rajkumar Shukla, means the name of that farmer was, who made MK Gandhi in Lucknow convention, was Rajkumar Shukla. I am from Champaran, and farmer further told to Gandhi that I am from Champaran, and said I am Rajkumar and I want you to come to my district. And he further told that Mr. Gandhi, sir, I want you to come to my district, means Champaran. The reason you will know later on. Gandhi had never heard of the place. Gandhi had listened about this place, Champaran, first time. He had never heard before this. It was in the foothills of the towering Himalayas. It was in the foothills, means it was situated, this place was situated in the bottom of the towering Himalayas, of the high peaked Himalayas, near the kingdom of Nepal, and it was very closely attached to Nepal also. Champaran closely attached to Nepal also if you go to Bihar, okay, under an ancient arrangement. And for what reason he has come to meet Gandhi? Now let's know that reason. Under an ancient arrangement, it was an ancient practice arrangement system. The Champaran peasants were sharecroppers. Actually, the Champaran farmers were sharecroppers. You know sharecroppers? Sharecropping is a kind of cropping in which the land is owned by someone else and the farming is done by someone else. And later on, the crops are distributed between the landowner and the person who did the farming, the farmer. Okay. So it is called sharecroppers. So Champaran farmers were sharecroppers. Rajkumar Shukla was one of them, and Rajkumar Shukla was also one of the sharecroppers from Champaran. He was illiterate but resolute. He was illiterate, not educated, but resolute means very strong will. He was determined person. He had come to Congress session to complain about the injustice of the landlord system in Bihar. And why he has come to meet MK Gandhi? He has come here in the Lucknow Congress session to tell MK Gandhi that the injustice which was done towards them, and he has come to complain to MK Gandhi that the landlords, means the British landlords, the Britishers are doing injustice to us. Okay, so for that reason he has come. And somebody had probably said, speak to Gandhi, means injustice was done to the Champaran farmers. Okay, and no one was there to support them. But someone told this illiterate farmer Rajkumar Shukla that if you want to take support and if you want to win this battle against injustice of the Britishers, you should meet Gandhi. So someone has told him that he speak to Gandhi, and that's why he has come to meet him today. Gandhi told Shukla that he had an appointment in Kanpur, that is Kanpur is actually. Gandhi told that I have to go to Kanpur, and was also committed to go to the other parts of India. And Gandhi further told that after Kanpur I have to go to the other parts of India. So Mr. Gandhi actually tried to deny that I cannot come with you because I am very busy. Shukla accompanied him everywhere, but Shukla was a very resolute person, very strong, very determined person. He accompanied MK Gandhi everywhere, means wherever MK Gandhi went, he followed him. Okay, that is accompanied, followed him. Then Gandhi returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad, and after visiting all the places which Gandhi told to Shukla in Lucknow convention, MK Gandhi returned to his ashram in Ahmedabad. Shukla followed him to ashram also. For weeks he never left Gandhi's side, and for 1 week, for many weeks, he has not left Gandhi's side, means he went everywhere following Gandhi wherever he went. Fix a date, he begged. And everywhere he just requested MK Gandhi one thing, that fix a date, sir. Please tell me a fixed date and then I will go. What date? Date that when you are coming to my district, Champaran. Impressed by the sharecroppers' tenacity, Gandhi was impressed by the sharecroppers, means by these farmers, Rajkumar Shukla's tenacity means determination. And his story, and he was impressed by his story also. Gandhi said, I have to be in Calcutta on such and such a date. He told that Shukla, I have to come to Calcutta on such and such a date. Means he told some date to him. The date is not mentioned here. Come and meet me and take me from there. Come there, okay? Come to Calcutta and take me from there. Months passed, okay? Shukla was sitting on his haunches at the appointed spot in Calcutta when Gandhi arrived. And when Gandhi arrived in Calcutta, Shukla was sitting on his haunches. Means haunches is a kind of process in which we sit like this, means our hands and legs together. So he was sitting in the manner, means already reached to that place where Gandhi asked him to come in Calcutta. He waited till Gandhi was free, and in Calcutta Gandhi had a program. MK Gandhi finished his program. He waited till the moment. Then the two MK Gandhi and Rajkumar Shukla, of them boarded a train. They got a train for the city of Patna in Bihar, and they came to Patna, that is in Bihar, capital of Bihar as well. There Shukla led him to the house of a lawyer named Rajan Prasad, and there Shukla, Dr. Rajan Prasad, in Patna, Dr. Rajan Prasad's house was there, and Shukla took MK Gandhi to Rajan Prasad's house. Okay, who later became president of the Congress party in India as well. You know that Rajan Prasad became later the president of Congress party also and the president of India as well. Okay, Rajan Prasad was out of the town at that time while Shukla arrived with Gandhi at his residence. Okay, Rajan Prasad was out of town; he was not at home. But the servants knew Shukla as a poor yeoman who pestered their master to help the indigo sharecroppers. But actually, Rajan Prasad was not at that moment at his home, but the servants of Rajan Prasad knew very well Shukla, because it was not Shukla's first visit to Dr. Rajan Prasad. He has paid several visits. For what? The servants knew that Shukla was a poor farmer, yeoman is farmer, who pestered their master, and they also knew that he has this poor farmer has pestered, means troubled their master, means Rajan Prasad, to help the indigo sharecroppers. Means Rajan Prasad had paid several visits to Shukla has paid several visits to Dr. Rajan Prasad home. For what purpose? And he has requested many times to Dr. Rajan Prasad that please sir, take our case, okay, in court and fight for justice for us. So he has requested many times, means he has visited this place many times to meet Dr. Rajan Prasad for represent the case of sharecroppers, because Rajan Prasad was a very well-known lawyer at that time. And that's why he thought that if Rajkumar Shukla thought that if a lawyer of his rank will take the case of sharecroppers, their problem will be solved. So in this way, Rajan Prasad servants recognized Shukla very well, that he was a poor farmer, and he has paid several other visits also and troubled their master, means the lawyer Dr. Rajan Prasad, many times previously as well. And that's why, so they let him stay on the grounds with his companion. That's why they asked Rajkumar Shukla to sit on the ground, and because here it is said that company matters much, मतलब जिस तरह के लोगों के साथ में रहते हैं, संगत एसोसिएशन बहुत ज़्यादा मैटर करता है। MK गांधी एक पुअर फार्मर के साथ गए थे और सर्वेंट्स को पता था कि राजकुमार शुक्ला एक पुअर फार्मर है, और MK गांधी उनके साथ में थे। राजकुमार शुक्ला और MK गांधी को पहचानते नहीं थे सर्वेंट्स। तो फिर राजकुमार शुक्ला को जब कहा कि तुम जमीन पर बैठ जाओ, फिर उन्होंने गांधी को भी बैठा दिया कि आप दोनों बैठो, क्योंकि उन्होंने समझा कि ये किसी की तरह से कोई फार्मर ही होगा। So they let him stay on the grounds. So they asked Rajkumar Shukla to sit on the ground, okay, with his companion Gandhi, with his friend Gandhi also, with his companion means the person who was coming, Gandhi. They thought that he's his friend, and he might be also a friend. He might be also a farmer. Gandhi, whom they took to be another peasant, because they thought that Gandhi is also another farmer. But Gandhi was not permitted to draw water from the well. Gandhi was thirsty at that time. Okay, here it is a very bad system of our ancient India that is called untouchability. Okay, has been discussed here. Gandhi was thirsty at that moment. Gandhi tried to fetch water from Dr. Rajendra Prasad well, but he was not given permission because some drops of from his bucket. Because if you will fetch water from the well, some drops will splash from the bucket and it will fall again into the entire source of the well water, and that will pollute the source. Means पूरा का पूरा पानी जो है वो प्रदूषित हो जाएगा, खराब हो जाएगा. गांधी अगर पानी उसमें से निकालेंगे मतलब गांधी को मतलब पानी नहीं पीने दिया गया. How did they know that he was not an untouchable? How did they know that M.K. Gandhi was not an untouchable person? Okay, he was a great man. He was a person from high caste. They were not knowing the fact. Gandhi decided to go first to Muzaffarpur. Okay, the Patna incident happened over here. Thereafter, Gandhi decided to first go to Muzaffarpur, which was en route to Champaran. Means if you are going to Champaran, you will find Muzaffarpur also. So he decided to go to Muzaffarpur to obtain more complete information about conditions that Shukla was capable of imparting. Means he wanted to get more information, might have been some resource in Muzaffarpur, that's why Gandhi went there. Gandhi went to Muzaffarpur with a purpose because he wanted to gain more information, to get more and more information about Rajkumar Shukla. Means whatever Rajkumar Shukla told him, that already Gandhi had information that had already stored by him, but he wanted to know more about the situation of the sharecroppers. That's why he went to Muzaffarpur. Was capable of imparting. He accordingly sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kriplani, very well known person. Okay, so that's why he sent a telegram. Telegram it was an ancient communicating method when telephone there was no so much phone availability. Telegram was a kind of thing in which, suppose that you have to send a telegram somewhere, so you are going at your nearby post office, you are giving your message, okay, you are paying some amount, that message will be sent to your address by phone. That from the post office, the phone will go to your nearby post office where you want to send the message. The other postman or postmaster who has picked the phone to the other side, they will write the message which you have asked to notify here. That is notified there, and then it will reach to the person in 24 hours. The telegram reaches to the person. So M.K. Gandhi sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kriplani first of the Arts College in Muzaffarpur, because he was a teacher professor in Arts College in Muzaffarpur, whom he had seen at Tagore Shantiniketan school and whom he has already met at Tagore Shantiniketan, okay, in West Bengal. The train arrived at midnight, and the train arrived at Muzaffarpur at midnight. 15th April 1917, it was 15th April 1917. Kriplani was waiting at the station with the last body of his students, and because Kriplani was a professor, so he was waiting for the arrival of M.K. Gandhi with a last body of with a lot of his students also along with him. Gandhi stayed there for 2 days in the home of Professor Malkani, and there Gandhi stayed for 2 days in another professor named Malkani, a teacher in government school. And Gandhi stayed in the house of Professor Malkani, who was a government teacher. स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पे ये बात लिखा हुआ है, बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है ये इस चीज़ का, उन दिनों के हिस्ट्री से रिलेटेड है. प्रोफेसर मलकानी के घर में 2 दिन M.K. गांधी स्टे की. बहुत ये इंपॉर्टेंट मोमेंट है, आगे लाइन्स देख लीजिए, फिर मैं इसको एक्सप्लेन कर देता हूँ. इट वॉज एन एक्स्ट्रॉर्डिनरी थिंग इन दोज डेज. In those days when freedom movement was going on, it was an extraordinary moment, incident. What was an extraordinary incident? To staying of a freedom fighter in a government teacher, in a government serviceman home. Why government service home? Because Mr. Malkani was a government professor, Mr. J.B. Kriplani also a government professor, and government in British time is British government. So they were getting salary from the British government, and they were allowing to stay a person in their home and receiving the person who was a well-known freedom fighter, who was fighting against this injustice and the British Empire, and he was in mood to make the British quit from India. Okay, that's why it is an extraordinary incident that for a government professor to harbor a man like me, because our government professor asked, give me a shelter. Harbor means give me a shelter, a staying place. A person like me, Gandhi says himself, accepts himself that a person like me means a freedom fighter in a smaller localities, in a small, Muzaffarpur, not a very big city, in such a smaller place. The Indians were afraid to show sympathy for advocates of home rule, because the Indians in those days were afraid to show sympathy for the advocates, for the persons who are fighting for the home rule, means Swaraj. Okay, which was fighting for their own rule, means own country, own rule. And Gandhi was the biggest of them. So Mahatma Gandhi स्वराज के लिए लड़ रहे थे, और स्वतंत्रता के लिए लड़ने वाले फ्रीडम फाइटर्स को अपने घर में कोई सरकारी प्रोफेसर ऐसे छोटे जैसे जगह पे, मुजफ्फरपुर जैसी जगह पे कोई स्टे करने का अलाउ नहीं करता था. So that's why it was an extraordinary incident. It is also giving an idea that though they were working with in British government, they were doing a job, but still their heart was with India, and they were willing to work for India as well, like Professor J.V.K. Planning and Professor Malkani. So thank you, students, in this part only till this point, and in next video I will teach few more paragraphs, and we will continue in the matter. Thank you.